Hey gang, Jerry here. In today's video we're going to be making a pen kit. Here's the kit that I have purchased. I purchased this from a company called Crooked Mill. This is their Ivy pen kit. Comes in a 4-pack, and I'll leave links in the description down below where you can pick up these kits and anything else that you see me using in a video today. The blank that we're going to be using today is this blank of olive wood. This olive wood is kind of pretty cool. It comes with a certificate of authenticity that it's actually harvested in Bethlehem, the Holy Land. So that's kind of cool. It does say that it's only harvested from branches that are either trimmed off or trees that have passed on. So kind of neat. Well, gang, I had to switch out my SD card to a new card, and while I was doing that, I was checking the clips that I have so far, and unfortunately, the clip showing you the components was corrupt. So I lost that footage. So I'm going to show you the components that of the pen minus the tubes, because I already had put those into the blank and cut the blank and started creating the blank. But the components of the pen kit is you have your tip, the end of the pen kit with the clip for your shirt, the main body of the pen, the ink tube, and also the mechanism that will extend the pen in and out of the barrel. Of course, you'll have the two tubes, a longer tube which is 7mm, a shorter tube is 8mm. You take your pen blank and just measure those to length and cut those at the bandsaw, which we will see next, and then you go on with your process. So apologize for losing this part of the clip, but here are the components of the pen. Okay, so here we're at the bandsaw, and we're going to cut our two pieces out on these two lines. I scribed onto the piece of wood, and it's not real precise. We've given ourselves some wiggle room. Okay, so we got our two pieces of wood. Next thing we'll do, we'll mark our centers and take it over to the drill press and drill our holes for our tubes. All right, so I'll take this little jig here and I'll just mark our center for where we need to drill our holes. Nice little jig here to find the exact center of the piece. Do the same thing for this one. Spin it. All right. Now we have both our centers. Take it over the drill press and we'll drill our holes for our tubes. One's going to be a 7mm hole. The other one's going to be an 8mm hole. 8mm, of course, goes on the short one. 7mm goes on the long one. All right, now we're over at our drill press. I have the long blank in, 7mm drill bit. We'll drill our hole for our tube in this blank. All right, now with that one done, we'll switch over to our 8mm drill bit and drill our hole in the short blank. All right, now with both our holes drilled, we'll move back over the bench and we'll epoxy our tubes into our blanks. All right, so we have our tubes, and one thing I did off camera is, I don't know if you can actually see it here, but I took some sandpaper and actually roughed up the tubes so the epoxy actually has something to adhere to. So we'll take our 5-minute epoxy. You don't need a whole lot. Squirt some out. equal parts. Take our little stir stick here, mix this up. Make sure it's thoroughly mixed. Take our tube, spread some epoxy on the tube. And I'll take and I'll work it in one side, kind of twisting it, try to get that epoxy all over the wall of the blank. Take it out, put a little bit more on, and then flip the blank around and go from the other side. Again, twisting and then pushing it all the way in. And you can actually usually pop these sticks apart, and I'm going to get it just below the surface. Look at my other side, just trying to kind of center the tube within the blank. And so I have the tube just below the surface or below the top of the blank on both sides. We'll do that for the 8mm one as well. Around. This side. And again, just get it below the surface. All right, we'll go ahead and let those dry, and then after they're dry, we'll square up the ends over at the drill press again, and then they'll be ready for turning. Now what I've done already is I glued some blanks up yesterday, so we didn't have to wait for these to dry, so I'll grab those and move right over to the drill press. All right, so we're here, and I have my squaring tool in the drill press, and we're going to square up these blanks and trim them all the way down to the tubes. And what I like to do is, instead of putting it in a vise, because they've relocated in the vise perfectly up and down, it's difficult, so I just hold it with a pair of pliers and then trim it that way. And just keep checking it. See when you reach your tube. You start seeing a little bit of shiny on the tube, then you know you're there. Okay, so now I'm at this end. Flip it around and do the other side. Okay, I can see shiny on this side, so this one is done. We'll swap out our tool, do the 7mm one the same way, and then we'll be ready to start turning on the lathe. All right, so we're here at the lathe. Got my blanks set up on the mandrel. And the nice thing about this Ivy kit, it comes with the bushings that you need to turn these pen kits. So it's a really nice feature for this kit. It comes with 4 pen kits and the bushings to turn the blanks. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a roughing gouge, and then I'll switch over to my Carbide tools to finish this off. All right, so we have the pen blanks turned down to our desired shape. And what I'll start with now, I'll start with the sandpaper. I'm going to start with 180 and sand through all the grids all the way up to 600. And get my tool rest out of the way. Again, starting with 180 and then going all the way up to 600. So we sanded our blank all the way through to 600. Now we're going to swap out our bushings for urethane bushings, and then we'll start applying our CA glue. Okay, so we're going to start applying our CA glue. I put some rubber gloves on for this process, and I just use a paper towel. Put the CA glue on the paper towel and rub it into the blank. And it takes a little bit of practice to make sure that you're getting it nice and smooth, but just keep trying it and working with it, and you'll get better as time goes. Now, first of all, I apply just 2 coats of the thin CA glue, then no activator. I'll just let that dry, and then I'll switch over to a medium and start applying several coats of a medium. And I do use an activator, an accelerator, to dry the coats with the medium set, but I will not use the accelerator for the thin set. Okay, now switching over to the medium, and I'll apply approximately, at least 5, maybe up to 10 coats of the medium, depending on how I like or how I see the blanks are turning out. All right, actually I like how that looks. I think I got a nice coat of CA glue finish on these blanks. Next step we're going to do is I'm going to sand this with my micro mesh to kind of smooth everything out, and then give it a polish with some Meguiar's polishing compound, or actually rubbing compound, and then some polish. Okay, you can see I put a towel down because I'm going to wet sanding with my micro mesh. I'm starting with 1500 and going all the way up to 12,000. All right, so we signed it all the way up to 12,000, have a nice smooth finish on our blanks. My next step is I'm going to use Meguiar's Ultimate Compound, do a little bit more rubbing out of the blanks with this, and then switching over to Meguiar's Polish to finish these off. They just look beautiful. Really super nice finish on those blanks. All right. Final step, we'll move it over to the bench and we'll begin assembly. All right, so I lost the audio for this clip, so I'm going to do a voiceover, but we're going to start the assembly of our pen. And the first part of the assembly, per the instructions, we're going to be installing the tip into our blank here, and we'll put this in our press and press it in flush with the blank. Make sure everything's lined up. Get a nice straight press. Press it in and check it. So everything looks nice and flush here. Now we can go on to the next step of the assembly process, which is going to be pressing in our mechanism. Now the instructions say to start with the brass part of the mechanism and to press it up to the indentation line that you see there. I do find out that when I'm assembling these twist pens that I usually have to press it in a little bit further, but we'll follow the instructions and press it in up to the indentation line, check the function of the pen, and then adjust as needed. So let me go ahead and readjust my press here, get it set to the right length, put the mechanism in the back of the pen, make sure everything is lined up, and start pressing. And again, just a little bit at a time. We'll start right up to the indentation line, and then we'll check the function of the pen. Okay, so we got it actually just right up to the line. Let's insert our ink cartridge here. Screw that in, and we'll test the function. And you can see here that my tip is still not protruding through the end of the pen, so it's going to have to go a little bit further. Go ahead and remove the ink cartridge, put it back in the press, and go just a little bit further. And again, just small adjustments until you get, exactly the proper length that you're looking for. We'll go ahead and test it again. Check the function. And I can just see the tip at the end of the pen there. So we still got to go a little bit further. Let's go ahead and make another small adjustment. Push the mechanism in just a little bit further. Okay. Let's check the function. Insert the ink cartridge. Test it. And now you can actually see the tip just past the end of the pen, but still we got to go a little bit further. So it looks like one more small adjustment. Put back in the press. Just a little bit more. And there we go. This should be good. Go ahead and try our ink cartridge, screw it in, and perfect. Now we got the end of the pen just, protruding just the right amount past the tip. So the function is really good. Let's go ahead and move on to the rest of the assembly of the pen. Take our short barrel. Now it does have a smaller diameter on one side, and that smaller diameter is going to receive the body of the pen. So we'll start, the assembly of this, readjust our press, put the barrel in the body, line everything up, tighten our press down, and let's go ahead and press this together. There we go. Check our fit. Looks like we have a really nice fit there, nice and flush. And now the final portion is the end of the pen. Put that into our barrel. Put it in our press. And we'll press that in. And there we go. Check our fit. Looks like we got a nice flush fit. Everything looks good. Put our ink cartridge in. Check our function. Now we can assemble the pen. And there you have it. A beautiful ivy twist pen made with olive wood. It just turned out fantastic. Looks really, really nice. Okay, well there you go, gang. step-by-step instructions on how to create this beautiful pen. Again, this pen came from Cricket Mill, and I think it's an excellent kit. If you want to make one of these pens right here, an Ivy kit pen, I definitely recommend to do so. And with that olive wood, it just looks beautiful. Turned out fantastic. Be a great gift to anyone. Well, that's it for this one, gang. I'll have links in the description down below for everything that you saw in today's video. If you really liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing and click on that bell for notifications so you never miss a new upload. Alright, gang. Well, remember, if you put your mind to it, you can do anything. Alright, take care and see ya.